Recording in progress.
All right. So if y'all would just mute out, that way we don't have the feedback and the background noises. Sometimes my dog barks bad. So when Lydia's speaking, I will mute out. But I want to welcome you all to Wellness Wednesday. We have a very special treat. I'm Angel Falk, the fitness angel, and I have a good, dear friend, Lydia Kopeika, who's going to be sharing some great information with us today. I heard her on live in one of her groups, and I thought we all need to know this. We all need to be sharing this. So such good value and good information. We actually met through our company, through the Juice Plus company, at my first conference. I believe it was my first conference, and we sat next to each other at a dinner or across from each other. I don't know, but what got me was Lydia's name, because y'all know my daughter's name is Lydia, and there's not many Lydias. And I was like, oh, I just love your name. And we started talking, and I realized she is so smart. She's a nutritionist, has a lot of knowledge. She's a great teacher as well. I love learning from her. Also, she is an autoimmune and a breast cancer thriver. We like to say the word thriver, right? And, you know, a lot of times you can have a lot of knowledge, but until it hits you, it's not real yet. And so she gets it. If you are someone who suffered with any of these issues in your life, you're hearing from someone who's been there, done that, and had so much knowledge before with her nutritionist education, but now has really even dug deeper into what heals the body. How do we fight cancer and really any disease? And I'm going to let her share more about that. So everybody just give a big welcome to Lydia Kopeika, and I'm going to pass it on. Yes.
Thank you. And thanks, Angel, so much for inviting me today. And thank you all for being on and joining us. And you know what, this is it. This is what our passion is, right? I mean, things that happen in our lives drive our passion. And so years ago, I started learning, I'm a nutritionist. That was my background in college. Of course, all this information we know today is new. I mean, we didn't know this 30 some years ago when I was in school, but I had been teaching a class for, it was Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. It was cancer prevention and reversal. And that's when I really started hearing about like the term phytonutrients, which I'd never heard before, and how they played a part and how powerful they were when it comes to cancer. So in the meantime, I was diagnosed with an autoimmune condition, and doctors were like, we don't care what's causing it. We don't worry about that. This is how we treat it. High dose of steroids, which of course, what does that do to your immune system? I mean, truly it saved my life, but that's one of the things that brought me to Juice Plus, is I knew I was hurting my immune system and I needed to help it. So that's kind of what got me started here. Recently diagnosed with breast cancer. It was a small tumor. And I tell you, I truly believe that everything I've learned up to that point and everything I was practicing, not to say that it didn't help me, it absolutely helped me, because I believe it slowed my tumor growth down, which probably started 10 years ago. It got my body to the point where it was going to help me fight what I was going through and help me get to where I am today. So I don't know. I know some of you have had breast cancer. There's a lot of good books out there. And sometimes you get too much information. It's overwhelming, which I got to that point before my surgery. Now, after surgery, I'm going back and digging deeper into some of these books. And one of them is called Breast, the Owner's Manual. Dr. Christy Funk, she is a breast cancer surgeon. And I keep seeing this book recommended over and over. So it's a very popular book. She's very good. And one of the early chapters, first thing she talks about is diet. And so we know that there's a lot of studies that show that there's an inverse relationship between how many fruits and vegetables we're getting, how many plant foods we get every day in our diet, and the incidence of breast cancer. Now, of course, we know everything we're saying. First of all, Angel and I were not doctors. I'm just sharing what I've learned. And I keep seeing this information every day on the news, whether it's heart disease or any kind of cancer, any disease out there, one of the first things they all mention is diet, and basically more plant foods, more fruits and vegetables. So we're seeing this pattern over and over again, that's just the way to improve our health and decrease our incidence of disease, no matter what it is. So, the plant foods have powerful compounds and phytonutrients, and some of the ones that this doctor recommends that are the most powerful are one, sulforaphane, which we get that from broccoli. Think broccoli sprouts. Broccoli sprouts are in our complete protein powder, right? Broccoli is very powerful. Genistein, which is in soy, that's another thing I keep reading about over and over again. Ellagic acid, which is in berries and some of our walnuts, different kinds of nuts. So what do these do? These plant compounds, number one, they help destroy the stem cells, the cancer stem cells, which is really important. It's not just about killing the cancer cells, but you want to get those stem cells. And one of the ways that cancer grows in our body is it has to develop its own blood system, its own blood supply. And so a lot of these compounds are what they call anti-angiogenic. So they prohibit that from happening. And that's just what's so important. And the few foods that I mentioned, so I'm not just saying eat broccoli and eat berries, but the variety of foods. You want to eat those green leafy vegetables and the brassica family. You want to eat the berry family, because they all work together and they work synergistically together. So how many of us make shakes every morning, and maybe you put kale in your shake and maybe some berries. So now you don't just have kale and berries, they work synergistically together and become even more powerful. And so that's what's so important about getting that variety every day, the variety of colors, and then even within those colors, the variety of those foods. So, Angel mentioned the Juice Plus. So in each of our colors, our berry blend, our greens and our reds, there's 10 different fruits in those, or 10 different foods that are in that family. And again, they work compounded together. And this product was actually developed by a doctor who put it together for his father that had lymphoma. And so he helped his father reverse his cancer. So that's how this whole product, got started. So it always made sense to me as a nutritionist. It made sense to me as a teacher when I was learning about cancer prevention and reversal. You start hearing these same words over and over again. And I think if there's anything I'm forgetting. And so just being as a background with nutrition, we're learning all the time. I've learned so much in the 7 years I've been with Juice Plus, and that's what we do. We share information, we learn and we share information, because I think it's something that's important for everybody when it comes to our health. And I know there's other components of our lifestyle, exercise, spiritual, all these things are important. I do tend to focus mostly on diet because that's my background, but we really need to practice all of these. I had a talk with somebody this morning. He's like, he's more the spiritual side and I was more the diet side, but they're both important. Any questions from anybody?
I like when you talk about synergy and you said compound. I've heard about the compounding effect. So the more, when you eat the variety, all these different fruits and vegetables every single day, it's going to help you leaps ahead as if you just ate a few, right? Maybe every day you eat a salad, but it has the same 5 or 6 plants in it. So the variety does make a huge difference. Did I hear you say that?
Oh, absolutely. And I think most of us tend to eat the same foods. Maybe we have a banana, we all have a banana in the morning and an apple, but are we getting that variety? And so I like to say, for instance, these two come together, the fruits and the veggie blends, and then you could add the berry. So now 2 + 1 doesn't equal 3. Now 2 + 1 = 10. And they can go into your gut and find how these compounds are working together. And like the picture of the apple with the 10,000 phytonutrients. You can't get that from a vitamin, a multivitamin. You take a vitamin, you're getting maybe 13 essential vitamins in there. Whereas if you eat the food, you're getting 10,000, over 10,000 of those phytonutrients. And that's what we need. We hear about the lycopene and the vitamin C, but again, they're all important, but they all work together. So you don't want to just single them out. So, I mean, we all have heard the benefits of juicing. And let's face it, we're all busy. I mean, life is busy and it's a lot of work. I mean, eating healthy can be a lot of work. Juicing's a lot of work. We make this easy. We've done the juicing for you, 30 different fruits and vegetables. Plus, if you do our omegas and shakes, you're looking at over 50 different foods that we're getting every day. And that's not something we can get easily in our diets.
I love that. And while y'all are thinking about your questions, Sally Beth just reached out to me today. I forgot she was home. She's a school teacher and now she's home for the summer. Yay. But Sally Beth is a breast cancer thriver. I'm going to start saying that word. I love that. And tell us a little about your story, if you don't mind, and why you take Juice Plus and if it's helped you kind of bridge the gap from what we are eating to what we should be eating.
Yes, sure. Okay, so like Angel said, I'm a breast cancer thriver. I love that too. And I was diagnosed about 7 years ago. And at that time, I thought I was healthy. But I equated, and I've heard others say this, I think Angel too, that we equated being skinny with healthy, working out. I still walk, enjoy walking a lot, but I thought, my diet was healthy, but then I was diagnosed with breast cancer. So I had a double mastectomy and chemo, no radiation, but through that, I was, determined I was going to find out what healthy was, and I was going to get, do better. And so my first step, I had Juice Plus before for my children, and but I really thought I was healthy enough that they needed it. I didn't need it. And so that was my first step. I reached out to Maria, our friend, and I said, I want to get this for my whole family. I want it for myself. And she said, well, the best way to do that is, you can share it with other people and just become your own customer. And I said, that's great. I want to do it. And then, it kind of became a mission for me, because I didn't want and I still don't want other people to have to go through what I went through, thinking I was healthy, thinking I was doing, and I'm not an expert by any means. I'm not a doctor. I'm not even a dietitian or anything. I just know what I've learned and what I read. And I try to, just do simple things. And that was the simplest thing I could do, the first step. And, since then I've, changed my diet, and I'm not perfect all the time at all, but I do, exercise, try to drink water, and I try to manage my spiritual and stress level and just keep all that in check. Some days are better than others, for sure, just like for everybody, but I do enjoy a healthy lifestyle, and I can definitely tell, if I go off track a little bit, it just makes a difference in how you feel. So that is my story, and I will continue on with my Juice Plus every day.
That's awesome. Thank you, Sally Beth. Camille, I know you're not prepared, but do you want to share just a little of what Juice Plus has done for you?
Sure. I was kind of in the same boat. I was diagnosed it'll be 5 years this fall. And I had a double mastectomy and chemo and radiation, and after going through all that, you're trying to find the avenue, what's going to make you the healthiest, and diet change and those things. And so that kind of is what got me started back and taking Juice Plus myself, and kind of like the same thing, making the diet changes and exercise, and I think they all just go hand in hand, in the spiritual part of it too. So I think you got to have all of them to to be successful. And so same here, Sally Beth.
I love it. Thank you so much. Yeah, I like to say, I learned from a pastor a long time ago. He said, we are a spirit. We have a soul, that's our mind, will, emotions, and we live in a body. They're all important, right? And they work together. And so I love that y'all are mentioning that. That's beautiful. And so we know, breast cancer is on the rise. Remember the statistic I shared. Lydia and I were talking about that earlier. 1 in every 2, sorry, my dog sees somebody. 1 in every 2 male Americans are going to get cancer. Is that not crazy? 1 in every 2 men, and it was 1 in every 3 women. Am I saying that correctly? I think I am. Oh, did I get it backwards?
I don't know. But it's one of those for.
It's 1 in 2, I think, men, and then 1 in 3 women.
It's still way too high.
Way too high. And what's so crazy is, here it is. Let's see, 1 in 2 men and 1 in 3 women will get cancer. That is just wild. And the study that we were looking at was on epigenetics, and it said 5% maybe, from genetics, and that this particular study that we were looking at said it could be up to 95% our lifestyle and environment, the environment. We can't control everything, but we can control what we eat. And I think that's why a lot of us have learned to focus on diet so much, because, it may still not be perfect, but we can try to get more good in us. And what I love about Juice Plus is it's third-party tested for, chemicals, pesticides, herbicides, all of that. And what's on the label is actually in this bottle. They make sure of that. Does anybody have another question for Lydia before I wrap it up? And Celine, I saw your question. I'm sorry. Let me go back. Celine had a question in the chat.
Yeah.
What symptoms do you feel if you don't, or what symptoms do you have if you don't take Juice Plus? Lydia, do you want to answer that?
Sure. So, like Sally Beth said, I actually got started for my granddaughter so she could get it for free. Never thought it would help me. I was healthy. Well, in the meantime, I have an autoimmune muscle disease. And in the meantime, I was on high doses of steroid, but I was still getting chronic fatigue 3 hours a day, couldn't hold my head up. And so when I started on it, I started noticing a change in my energy. That impacts your life if you can't get off the couch. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I started digging more. Why would this be making a difference? But all these changes, so I've been on it 7 years now, and I will tell you, just in the last 6 months, my muscle enzymes are normal for the first time in 7 years. So I think when it comes to reversing disease, you start feeling better, but it keeps working and keeps working and keeps working, and it takes a long time to reverse disease. And so it made a huge difference starting with that. Yeah. But then I've noticed other changes along the way. And like we always say, it's food, so they might be very slight, but over time you notice a big difference. So.
Okay. Yeah, I think, yeah. Okay. That's what I was wondering, because I know I heard somebody, maybe 1 or 2 of you all said that they stopped. They were taking them, then they stopped. And I was wondering why, if it's making a difference in your energy. I know I've lapsed in mine a couple of times too. And both times I felt a huge energy decrease as well. So that's what I was just kind of curious as to how, once you start, how could you stop? I know some people said that, so yeah. That's fine. So that
sometimes if I run out of a color for whatever reason, it'll take me about 2 or 3 days to realize, why do I feel so bad? And it's because I'm not getting them all in. And, you know, plant foods and even Juice Plus, you know, they're proven to help damage DNA, help repair the DNA. They help decrease inflammation. It helps slow the growth of cancer cells. So there's just so many things that it can help with, which is why it helps with kind of any kind of disease. You know, I mean, if you can improve your symptoms, you're improving somebody's life, you know, you're improving your life.
That is so good. I'm going to look and see if anybody had any comments. Whoops. Yeah. On our Facebook, see if anybody, see Susan and Cindy watching. Good. I was seeing if anybody had questions on Facebook. Usually Brandy does that and she's not on today. So thank you so much, Lydia, for sharing. That was so good. And for Camille and Sally Beth, thank you guys for sharing. And I've heard from you. I've heard several of your stories and they're all so powerful. One thing I will say, I will take Juice Plus the rest of my life because I don't want to go without it. Yes. Now, usually I take mine, I have a little routine in the morning. I keep my bottles out by my blender. So after I work out, that's when I make my smoothie and I take my Juice Plus. That's just kind of a thing. But every now and then, if I don't work out or, you know, something, my schedule gets sidetracked, if I don't take it, what you were saying, Celine, by the end of the day, like afternoon, I just feel kind of blah, like something's missing, like that energy, that it's just like we're plants, you know, we need water, we need sunshine, and we need our nutrients. We got to have it. So it does make a difference. Also, if you're a fitness instructor like Barb and I, all that running and jumping and pounding and lifting weights, you're not as sore because the Juice Plus reduces the inflammation. So instead of my knees killing me, they won't hurt as bad, you know, and I've had torn meniscus and all that. So I've had some surgery and I had to deal with a little bit of pain, but it helps tremendously. And I'd much rather do that than take ibuprofen, which is horrible for you, can ruin your liver over time. So athletes, I think, have great benefits when taking Juice Plus. And if you're over 50, you know, they say you need 16 to 20 servings of fruits and vegetables. That's crazy. If you're over 50, if you've ever had cancer, ever had any kind of chronic illness, autoimmune, whatever, who gets that? I don't know anybody who gets that. You know, 20 cups of raw vine ripened, different colors of.
Hi, I'll be with you in just one moment. Please have your rewards code ready.
Oh, Debbie, I don't know what that was, but anyway, I'm going to mute. That's funny. Anyway, guys, thank y'all again so much. I want to just say you're usually in one of three categories if you're on this call. Number one, you want to learn more. You want to know, okay, how can I read the research? How can I see the website with all these wonderful webinars with all these doctors teaching and recipe books? If you're in number one, reach out to the person who invited you and just ask for that information, because I love Juice Plus so much because we have so much education. That's one of the many reasons we have so much education and it's free. So just ask. And then number two, you might be thinking, I need Juice Plus. I need to get on it and I want my children to have it. And y'all, we didn't mention this, but your children, if you order, then your children get the fruit and veggies at no cost to you. So that is huge because we know what our children are eating now. It's going to show up later in life, right? So maybe that's you for number two. We also have the vegan omegas and we have Tower Garden. So that's a way for you to grow your own veggies, fruits, herbs, and that can be indoors or outdoors year round. So if you're concerned about the food supply, you want to save money over time, definitely check into the Tower Garden. And then you may be number three. The number three person is like, oh my gosh, I love what they're doing. I've been taking Juice Plus for a while. I know it works. I want to help start sharing. Or maybe you just know enough now that we all need Juice Plus because it's fruits and vegetables and berries, right? And you're thinking, I want to join this mission because I want to be around these people, the community, the education. Maybe you need extra money and the company pays us when we share, which is amazing. And we also have all kinds of things like corporate benefits, tuition reimbursement for our children. There's so many reasons to lock arms with this company. And we've been around 50 years. So you've got the character, the longevity. It's going to be around, and I love it. And I love all the people I've met in this community so much. And I love having new people come in and join us, because it's just, when you're full of information and you know so much, you want to share it. So just want to let y'all know that. Reach out to the person who invited you. My Facebook page is public. If you want to share it, feel free to share it. You can message anybody with any of this information, or just put it on your page. All right, guys, there's Jack. Thank you so much. Thanks, Lydia. I appreciate you. And I did record it, so I'll put it on my YouTube channel. So if you want the link, just let me know. After this call, you can message me on Facebook. I'll send it to you. All right.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Bye.
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 Thank you.
Thank you. Great
Thank you,
call.
everybody.
Bye.